When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well.
More from then-Senator Biden in a moment. First,
my administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion.
Biden tells a deficit fairy tale was our headline for that whopper during the president's State of the Union address. Just 27 million people tuned in to hear Mr. Biden's speech, the second lowest viewership in 30 years. What beat it with even lower viewership? His speech last year.
I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president.
What's arguably gained the most traction since his speech have been Mr. Biden's comments regarding Medicare and Social Security.
Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority.
You see, despite appearing to concede that his claim wasn't accurate,
but apparently it's not going to be a problem.
The president's put it front and center all week, starting with a trip to Wisconsin.
Many of you have seen we've had a spirited debate last night with my Republican friends. They seem shocked when I raised the plans of some of their members and their caucus to cut Social Security.
When given the opportunity, Republican leaders have pushed back, denying the claims.
The one thing the president was saying is something that he knew was not true. I just spent an hour with him. I've said it many times before. Social Security and Medicare are off the table. He tries to use that for a political ploy.
Political ploy though it may be, the question is, will reigniting the debate over Medicare and Social Security resonate with voters? In Wisconsin, he was speaking to blue-collar workers at a union-run training facility, a demographic he'd need to win should he announce he's running.
Unions built the middle class. That's the God's truth.
Next up came a trip to the Sunshine State, where he expanded on his rhetoric, targeting a plan floated by Florida Senator Rick Scott.
Maybe he's changed his mind. Maybe he's seen the Lord. But he wanted a sunset. And then, in case there was any doubt, just yesterday, he confirmed that he still likes his proposal.
For clarity, this is what Mr. Scott actually proposed.
I said, look, let's look at every program every 5 years, and then if it's worth keeping, we keep it. You know, we do this with the defense budget every year.
Generations of Americans have counted on it, and it works. And now these guys want to cut it.
Rick Scott, as you saw in the Fox News clip just now, supports efforts to let federal legislation expire every 5 years. And irrespective of whether you agree or disagree with such an idea, it's an approach that Mr. Biden supported back in 1995 when he was a senator.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
President Biden's plans for Social Security and Medicare aren't available until he releases his budget proposal in March. Until then, the Democratic Party play is to put the onus on the opposition.
Show us your plan. Do you want to cut Social Security or not? Do you want to cut Medicare or not?